Adam Taxin talking with Daniel Greenfield, a.k.a. Sultan Kanish, whose blogs can be found at sultankanish.blogspot.com. Right now it is Wednesday, May 23rd, and we're talking about his current column, which is called The Court Jesters of the Press. Daniel, welcome, and first of all, tell us what you mean by court jesters here.
Court jester is somebody who hangs around, sucking up to the people at the top, entertaining them, and playing the fool for them. That's really what we have the press doing more and more. If you look at the latest Time magazine and Newsweek covers, the goofiness, the desperate propaganda, you get the very court jester feel from it.
Who are you defining as the ruling class, the elite? I mean, it might be a pretty obvious answer, but how are you defining it, and what magazines have served them in the past?
You've got the left, which is at the top, the people who believe that by right of ideology that they have the right to run everything, that they have the justification to exercise absolute power.
Okay, and you mentioned about how Time and Newsweek have been cutting into others' turf and how they're just not what they used to be. Could you give an overview, including whose turf they're entering into, and then we'll get after that into what technology is doing?
They're all crowding around the same 5 inches, the kind of territory that Salon used to have for a while, but now everybody's over there. You've got online sites like the Daily Beast, which bought Newsweek. You've also got Time, which is now indistinguishable from Salon-type outlets. You've got virtually the entire press recycling the same kind of material to the point that there's little distinction between all different outlets. Whether you're reading the New Yorker or Esquire or Time or Newsweek or, for that matter, the New York Times Sunday magazine, you've all got the same small scattering of material aimed at the same small audience.
And there's a total disdain for Middle America, as you suggest, if not in those terms, correct?
There is. Increasingly, it's a 1% that acts like they're the foreign colony in an ugly, wild jungle composed of people who are obsessed with guns and Bibles and who really need to have their lives run into the ground for their own benefit.
Right, and what is the effect on advertisers of all of this?
Advertisers are chasing a fairly small audience with too many markets, and when you've got a small audience, too many markets, then a lot of this entire media jungle is due for major culling. All these outlets can't survive.
One final question. What is the equivalent of what Time or Newsweek magazine might have been 40 years ago for people like you or I, you or me, who like to think of ourselves as smart, probably conservative-leaning, both Jewish, and who want the best information possible in the limited time we have? We don't go to magazines, correct?
No, we don't. There's an increasing growth of conservative media, which is still evolving. But, for example, I work for Front Page Magazine. American Thinker is also really good. There's a lot of thought-provoking material there. The Breitbart sites sometimes have interesting material. Pajamas Media. All of those sites really bring together the kind of material that is thought-provoking and informs you about the world.
And even Facebook, which we talked about yesterday, not in such a positive way, but there's an element of gatekeeping there, like people whose opinions you respect, when they post something, they're playing the role that a magazine once did. That's what I find. But that sort of all relates to what we're trying to do here. Instead of someone going to a magazine, we'd like to think that someone will listen to this audio podcast and get information from there, as opposed to reading a magazine. They may listen to this on their way to work and get a certain amount of information that they might have gotten from one of the old dinosaurs. Any thoughts on that before we close?
Yes, exactly. What you had with the old centralized top-down media collapsing and splintering because everybody can now directly access materials if they really go to the effort to do it. And without the gatekeeping, the entire marketplace is fragmented, which means there's less room for this kind of mega-corporate media establishment, as the New York Times is discovering, and people can create their own market, their own media marketplace.
And that's exactly what we're trying to do here. So if that's an advertisement for ourselves, it is. Okay, Daniel, thank you, as always. And I don't know if I'll talk to you. Are you going to have a Friday afternoon roundup, just with the holiday coming up and Shabbos? Or
Yes, I will.
Same as always?
It'll have to be a bit larger since it's for 2 days.
And then, 3 days, right? You're not going to have anything Saturday night or Sunday night, right?
Well, yes, the night, so it's 2 days, more like 2 days.
Okay, so we'll have a Friday afternoon roundup, and then the next publication will be on Monday night. Okay, Daniel, thanks as always.
Okay, bye.